Good morning. I am Jennifer, and I am going to show you today how to make a pepper jack cheese. This is a recipe I developed. This is going to be the third time I'm making it. But I'm going to first show you this cheese because this is what I made most recently, and this is the one that turned out what I'm basing the recipe on. So this is the cheese. This is young. Cut it open. I couldn't wait. I wanted to taste it. So it bends, but then it breaks. So it's not really rubbery, it's kind of dry and soft. Even as a young cheese, it's really good. And it has a kick, like you taste it. It's a buttery, richly flavored, soft, red pepper, spicy, picante cheese, and it's good. So we're gonna make it today. This is an 8-gallon pot. It's 7.5 gallons full of a blend of Jersey milk and Holstein milk that I skimmed this morning, but there's still quite a bit of cream in here. I always spray down this area, this work area right here, with a 50% white vinegar solution and 50% water solution. I just put it in a spray bottle, spritz it down, wipe it with a paper towel. We are not paper towel people, but I use paper towels for cheese making, just so I don't contaminate anything. I'm not super picky, but I'm somewhat careful. So this is the milk, and it needs to come to 90 degrees. And I just stir, you can see the cream that was already rising to the top. Gonna temp it, 68 degrees and dropping. So I'm gonna crank this up. For this pepper jack, I am using flora danica culture, so it's a Mesophilic culture. You could also use buttermilk or kefir. I don't really like kefir. I don't like the flavor it gives, though some people think it's great, and maybe it's my kefir that's bad. I don't know. I don't have any cultured buttermilk right now. I did do cultured buttermilk with one of the cheeses, and it turned out fine. So the milk is at 90 degrees. So now I am going to add the flora danica culture. Got this from New England Cheese Making Supply Company. It's like that. It's like little crumbles of what looks like, I don't know, dried ice cream. And I try to put a little bit less just because this is raw milk and you don't need as many cultures for raw milk. So why spend the money when these are so expensive? Sprinkle it over the top. And then I'm gonna let it hydrate for 2 minutes. It's been 40 minutes and I can tell just by looking at that it is not ready. You can see those ripples. Oh, it's still totally liquid. What the heck? That's unusual. Maybe I'm having a bum cheese today. So see how it does not jiggle? And that is a clean break. How it's tearing up like that. It's ready to go. So I'm gonna let this sit for 5 minutes to firm up a little bit. I heard from somebody who processes meat that if you spray this 50% solution, vinegar water solution, on your carcass when you're processing meat, let it sit for 5 minutes, spray it again. At that point, it is FDA food grade sanitary or whatever they do. Like, it's it works. It's clean, it's good. I'm gonna stir it by just lifting the top and kind of pulling it over. And it's already starting to settle a little bit into itself. And as I'm stirring them, I will start seeing big pieces as I get down into it that'll come up. But I will just pop my thumb in that and kind of split them for the big ones. So just pop, split. But just gently working and splitting as I go. And as I'm doing this, the curds are setting up a little bit, making sure none of them are too huge, like all these. And I have been doing this for about 7 minutes or so. There's a lot more whey and the curds are reducing. I'm going to collect some of this whey as it's coming to the top, and as I stir it, it's going to become sloshy. So I want to get some of this out before I keep going so it's not too full. So you just kind of push the base down in, and then the whey flows in up here because you don't want to get any curds in, and the curds are still loose, so they will come floating in if I'm not careful. I'm going to set the timer for 25 minutes, and it's supposed to come up to 100 degrees. I used to set my pot when I was doing smaller batches in a canner, like making a water bath, because I didn't want to burn it. Now I just know that in this kettle, this is an excellent soup kettle. If I keep this heat on low, when it's about 7 gallons of product, it will take me about 25 minutes to get it to up about 10 degrees. If I ever feel like it's going too fast, I will just cut the heat for several minutes, then turn it back on. Works great. So we are going for 25 minutes, bringing it up 10 degrees. This stage, you need a good book. So here we go. This is all we do for the next 25 minutes. I'm feeling for big lumps. That's one thing. And I'm also feeling where it kind of has like shrunk together a little bit. I break it up. So my hand, what am I doing? I'm kind of just going like this and scraping around on the bottom and just gently pulling it through, getting in all the corners coming up through. Like that motion. Or as it loosens up, I might do like a figure 8 as I go through and just work my way up. But it settles pretty quickly, so you want to get your hands down there and make sure you bring up all the curds that are sinking into each other, which is called knitting. The curds are knitting to each other. I can feel the heat from the bottom, but I just run my fingers over that every now and then, and it just incorporates it. Time to read. It has been 20 more minutes and we are done. The curds feel dry and firm. So there they are, you can squeeze them. They are just feeling pretty good. Pretty cooked, pretty rubbery, small little bits. Lentils and peas probably, if you want to compare them to a size. I'm gonna let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes and then I'm going to start scooping off the whey and we'll add the spices and get it into the mold. We have 2 piglets, they're tiny. The names are Petunia and Fern. And this is their food for the next few days. I am now going to attempt to do this to strain off the rest by myself. This bowl is really heavy and I don't know if I can do it, but we're gonna try. Oh, you know what I need? Let's do that. Don't fall in. I'm gonna press on this a little bit to condense it. Maybe. This is the mold. It's a large mold from New England Cheese Making Supply. Cheesecloth, get that in. So now that this is all set up, it's time to put the salt and the pepper into the curds. Also, I take this wooden spoon and I stick it underneath to prop it up a little bit so it slants. This is the soaked pepper. That was the 2 teaspoons. Get that in. I'm gonna add 6 teaspoons more of the dried. This is not a mild cheese, but it's also not a spicy. I would consider it pleasantly spicy. You know it's spicy, there's no doubt, but it doesn't deter you from eating it. So 1, 2, 6, and 7. So that's a total of 9. 6 tablespoons of salt, at least. I might put more and we'll taste it then. 1, 2, 6, a little bit more. I think of it in terms of a tablespoon of salt per gallon of milk. That's the salt and pepper, and I'm gonna just work it in with my hands, and this stage is called milling it. See, they've already kind of attached together, so I'm just breaking them up with my fingers and working it in. Oh, it smells so good. It smells smoky, peppery. So this right here, you can see this is called when the curds have knit together. So now you break them apart, and that's what knitting is. And this is actually hard work on the hands. It kind of hurts my fingers. So I'm breaking up the big lumps mostly now. Oh, it's salty and it's spicy. Oh, I get a good kick from the heat. That is so yummy. So 7 tablespoons of salt. All right, I think we're good. I want all the peppers in. So my notes say medium pressure for 18 hours. So it's early afternoon, so I'm gonna leave it until tomorrow morning. And I'm gonna just keep it low right now. So it's maybe 15 pounds of pressure. And then I'll flip it in half an hour, flip it an hour later, flip it 5 hours later, flip it before bedtime, and keep going down each time with pressure, keeping it between 20 and 40 pounds of pressure. So not too hard. As it sinks, I will have to add these followers in. It's been about half an hour, so I'm going to empty out all this peppery whey. Just dump it right into the sink. Make it go to, it's about 30 right now. And let it go for another hour or so. I don't know how long it's been, maybe another half hour, but I just wanted to show you how it is. Neighbors are swimming and they have children playing outside, which is wonderful. So it kind of loosens up. This does not keep pushing down. Once the thing is going down, it kind of stays the same. So I have to come in every now and then and just give it a little push and tighten it up. So here we are, it's been a couple more hours. See, it is down to about 15, 20 pounds. It's pretty much level in there, so it's not pressing anymore, so it's time to get another follower in. It's 40 pounds, I'm gonna let it go till bedtime. So I put the pepper jack into here to continue to dry a bit. So it's getting dry. Flip it. It's a little bit clammy, not much though. I'm gonna let this dry probably till tonight and then I'll backpack it. All right, so we're wrapping up this pepper jack cheese. I started it on Monday and today is Thursday. So we made it Monday. It was in the press until Tuesday. It's been air drying from Tuesday night, I think, and now it is Thursday morning. It was at room temperature for a day, and then I switched it to the little cheese fridge in there. And I've been flipping it every 12 hours. It's getting a rind. Feels dry, it feels good, smells good, looks great. So the cheese I sampled in the beginning, which is the one that I'm basing off all my recipe on, and I copied it exactly. I did the same thing for this cheese. It's a whole 2 pounds different in the yield. That cheese that we tasted in the beginning was 7 pounds 4 ounces, and this one is 5 pounds 4 ounces. I'm being completely candid here. This is how cheese making goes for me. I don't know what's happening half the time. Aside from the fact that the first one was made 2 months ago and the grass is different, this cheese has some Jersey milk in it, which I would think would give it a bigger yield. The milk before was all Holstein milk. I usually have been skimming off some cream, so maybe that's it. But previously, I wasn't really getting much cream on the Holstein milk. I'm getting more now. So I don't know. It feels good. I think it's good. It's just different. Cheeses turn out different when you're making your own. And so I'm hoping it's not too salty because I use the same amount of salt. I use the same amount of pepper. This one might have a really big kick. I'm going to vac-pack this and then we're going to age it for several months. I mean, we could open it in like 4 probably and taste it. And I'm going to just let this one go. I'll probably get too curious though. That's what I tend to do. So here it is, the final cheese, pepper jack, number 94. Made it on Monday, and I said, just randomly said it's gonna be ready September 6th. Gave it 3 months. Could be longer, could be less. I'm gonna put this in either the cheese fridge up here or the cheeser in the basement and flip it about once a week and let it go. I'm really not worried about it, even though there's a whole 2 pounds difference in yield. I've kind of given up because home cheese making with your own cows through the seasons of the year, I don't know. There's just so many variables, and that's maybe the fun of home cheese making, that each cheese is different. I made it exactly the same, turned out different, but I think it's probably gonna have good flavor. It might be different, but it's still gonna be a good cheese. That's my hope anyway. We'll see.